Good evening, Isaac. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you, sir?
Good, doing well, doing well. So we have a special guest today. We are inviting Bree Goldman onto the show. Super excited about this.
Hey.
Bree, how
Hey
are you doing?
everyone. I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Good. You were just filling us in before the show. We were talking about where you just came from. Make everybody jealous tonight.
So I just came from a fantastic week on the Dice Tower cruise. It was actually an Arcane Wonders company trip. So all 9 of us were there and we got a chance to just hang out, play a ton of games, do game work related stuff, just hang out and get some sun. And it was honestly amazing.
That's
Amazing.
awesome. That's really cool. So we in the meantime we're just being cold and not doing anything fun
So
around here.
cold. Dude. So cold.
It's actually cold in Georgia, which is surprising. It's
Wow.
never cold in Georgia like this, but it's been pretty cold the past couple of weeks.
It's not especially cold in Vegas right now compared
Mhm.
to basically the whole rest of the country.
Yeah,
But it was
yeah,
raining today, which is very rare here, and I absolutely love the
interesting.
rain, so I
Yeah,
was very happy.
yeah. You don't
It's
see much rain out there.
negative
We get
20
like 4
something
inches.
yesterday with the wind chill.
Woo.
-20.
With the wind chill. Yeah, it was
Whoop.
actual temperature like -2. So, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I think it was about 40 here at the coldest.
yeah, yeah,
OH.
yeah. We got down to 18 last week, or
Ooh.
last weekend. So that's about as cold as it gets around here.
But Ryan, we're not talking weather today, are we?
No, this is not the weather chat. This is the game chat. So I am busy in the background. We are actually talking about our topic for the show today is talking about our most anticipated games of 2024. So we're going to be talking about games that are not yet in our hot, grubby hands, but games that we can't wait to hit the table when they do get here. So I'm busy trying to grab cover art for all these games that don't exist. Right
Did
now.
even mine?
So, yeah, I'm trying to.
I changed my list around a bunch too.
Did you?
No, I don't. But I normally do, but I won't this time, I promise.
No, because I'm already working on this.
I'll stick with the 5.
Okay, don't do this.
I won't change them.
Yeah, all of a sudden he names off all these other games. It's going to be great. Makes good for a live show. Anyway.
Yep, that's how we do it.
Yep. So while I'm grabbing images, you're asking questions.
Yeah. So we always throw the first question or the first answer for every question to our guests. So Bree, what are you looking forward to the most in 2024? And we're starting with this broad, right? What specific already planned thing? Maybe it's a convention, maybe it's a trip, maybe it's an event. Is there something you're really looking forward to this year?
So if you had asked me this question a week ago, it would have been the Dice Tower cruise, hands down, for sure, no competition. Stuff I'm looking forward to that hasn't happened yet. I mean, I'm going to a lot of conventions this year, and they're all for work, but I even if I don't get to play games at conventions, I just love to see just like all my friends from the industry.
Yeah.
And so among all of those planned trips, I think probably Essen is the one that I'm the most excited for, just because any opportunity to travel to Europe is high on my books.
Yeah, that is on my bucket list for sure.
I am, however, also going to Toy Fest West for the first time this year, which
nice.
I'm like, I have a month or so, a little like a month and a half to prepare for it, and I have a lot of research to do because I've never been, and I haven't really been to any. Like I haven't been to Astra, I haven't been to New York Toy Fair, so this is kind of my first like dipping my toes in the water of that kind of show. I'm really excited.
I see pictures from those things, and I'm just sitting there. I'm like, if I were like, I've always collected toys, and so I just look at that stuff, and I'm just like, man, I could wreck
Get lost.
Well, and it's especially dangerous for me because Toy Fest West is here in Vegas, so I don't have to worry about like flying home.
There's no limitations,
right?
It's unlimited.
Will it fit in my car?
Yes.
But yeah, so Toy Fest West and Dice Tower West are back to back. So we're actually going to have a booth at Toy Fest West, which is at Resorts World, and then we're going to pack it up into a truck, drive it a mile down the road to the Rio, and pull it out again for Dice Tower West. That starts basically the next day.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
West conventions are a whole different I got to do PAX West for the first time this last year.
Really? How was it? I've never been
It's
to any PAX except Unplugged.
oh, it is high energy, those video
Yeah.
game ones, because those booths are ginormous. There's so many big sponsors.
Mhm.
And they're not trying to sell you a physical product, right? They're trying to sell their game.
Yeah.
Right.
And so you're not really buying a lot. You're just kind of, my son's a huge video game guy. And so the independent ones are cool, but man, those big companies were big.
Yeah.
Tekken had Tekken 5 coming out, and they must have had 15 muscular, look like pro wrestlers dressed up as all
Jeez.
their characters,
Oh,
just
wow.
wander around taking pictures. And
That's crazy.
yeah, Baldur's Gate booth had like
Mm.
full size things from the game. It was
Ugh,
ridiculous.
that's awesome.
incredible. Yeah,
It was
those video
experience.
game companies have such incredibly big budgets compared to board games that it's like
Yeah.
a different world
Yeah.
for sure.
We'll get there eventually.
Oh, yeah.
Board games. So,
Ryan, what do you got, sir?
all right. So I think I've got a bunch of the images. So I'm going to stop and pay attention to the
Perfect.
show. Anyway, this coming spring we're going to be doing a little family trip. We went on a cruise last spring break with the kids. Bree, our kids are teenagers. They're all teenagers, and they're we've got our oldest is 20 years old, and so we know that the family trips are harder to come by, and they're a little more sporadic. It's not everybody can get off of work and stuff like that.
Right.
So we're going on a cruise. We told the kids around Christmas that we were taking them on another cruise, and everybody was excited. So we're going to be doing another cruise this spring with the kids, which is really exciting. They're some of our favorite people. So
I have a guest, by the way. This is Samus.
yes, I've seen Samus like walking around and swatting you with the tail.
That's what she does. And she is
Nice.
on camera 100% of the time when I'm on calls. So
That's
no
amazing.
surprise
Very
to me
cool.
that she's here. Remy's around here somewhere, but he's probably sleeping in the other room.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the trip thing too. My kids are, my daughter's 20, my son's about to turn 18, and we have last year I went to all those PAX conventions
Yep.
with just my son and I, and it was a blast. Like just experience that together. And Ethan comes to a lot of the conventions with me. But this spring, actually, my daughter asked us, "Hey, would you take me to Disney World for my college spring break?" And my wife
That's
and I
awesome.
said, "Absolutely, we will go
100%.
through the chaos of Disney World just to spend the week with you." So
Yeah.
so I'm really looking forward to that. I haven't been since they were, it's been 12 years, and I'm super excited to see all the Marvel and Star Wars stuff that I love so much. So
Yeah, that's
very
really
exciting.
cool. Got a shout out for Samus. So
Yes, thank you.
all right. Cool. So what is our next question, sir?
Yeah. So what's something new you want to try in 2024? And again, we're kind of going broad. Maybe it's game related, maybe it's just life related. Is there something you're really excited to try for the first time this year?
So just over the course of the last week, because my roommate on the cruise was one of our graphic designers, and she's very into sketching. And so she was
Nice.
sketching things all over the cruise ship, and I have no experience and no like earned skills in drawing or painting but my mom is an artist, and she has always encouraged me to try to. She's like, you can learn these things, you can become better at them with practice. So I've made a tentative goal to try to learn like the basics of drawing and sketching this year.
That's cool. Now you make me want to change mine. I was trying watercolors for a while, and I just kind of like stopped. And I really wish I could get back to it. Chad coming in with the flattery. So, yeah. So mine would be get better at pinball. So last year sometime I started enjoying pinball like I did when I was a kid. There's this big stretch. My dad taught me how to play pinball when I was young, and I remember playing pinball video games and stuff like that, and I really enjoyed it. And then something clicked, I think, over the summer or in the spring. I was just like, I really like pinball. I'm terrible at it, but I'd like to get better at it. I'd like to maybe start tracking. Stern Pinball does the tracking of your profile, and so I need to get better at that. So yeah.
So if you ever come out to Vegas, we have a pinball museum here, which I have never actually been to.
Yeah.
So I would be happy to go. I've
That's pretty
heard
cool.
I've heard that it's absolutely amazing. I used to play. You mentioned pinball video games. I had a pinball game. I think it was called Pinball Construction Set.
Okay.
When I was like, I don't even know, less than 10.
Yeah.
I think maybe even much younger. I feel like it might have been on our Apple II Plus. But it was a like you could make your own digital
Yeah.
pinball
That's
games, and
cool.
I was constantly determined to make games that you couldn't lose.
Yeah.
So I would just like build this whole crazy thing, but I would put bumpers under the flippers so that like
Nice.
the balls just
They just come
literally
back
there
up.
was nowhere for
Yeah.
them to go.
Yeah.
And then just try to rack up these ridiculous scores.
That's funny.
Super, super entertaining.
I'm really good at pinball. Yeah.
Does not require any skill whatsoever.
There we go. There we go. Chad got it right. I was into watercolors until I realized it was water. I needed water.
Secret.
So, yeah.
Hi, Bob.
So,
Man, we're just getting
I know we're just getting roasted.
pounded.
You can tell the show has outstayed its welcome when every time we have a guest, we get just plowed on.
They're like, oh, thank
So-
goodness, somebody other than these two yahoos.
Yeah, exactly. So, what about you? So I
Yeah.
read yours. I'm going to
Yeah.
tell you how I read yours.
Tell me.
No, you say it, and then I'll tell you how I read it.
A more consistent yoga program in my life. So
Okay.
I've been. Wait, how'd you read it as?
I read it consent yoga.
Oh, consent
was
Oh,
yoga.
like,
my.
Yeah,
Are
super
you-
important.
Are
Yeah.
you being forced to yoga? Is somebody forcing you to yoga right now?
No, my wife and I, she's been doing yoga for a while, and we went to a trip in Cancun in the fall for our anniversary. Did some sunrise yoga stuff, and I was like, man, I really, for somebody who I care a lot about my physical fitness, like my yoga flexibility is poor at best, and so blink twice. There you go. So I've been really putting emphasis on trying to do it a couple times a week, and I want to try and do it a little more often. And it's just mental care, just that kind of calm at the end of the day. So I've always been just I like to lift heavy things and put them down kind of guy, and I'll still keep doing that. But I like the flexibility part too. So
Nice.
Very nice.
That's cool. I'm going to always see it as consent yoga, though. I think, did he
It's
freeze?
in there. It's up there with like goat yoga, where they have
Yeah,
like baby goats that will come like jump on your back. He did freeze for me as well.
Yeah, he's frozen for me, too. Isaac, you're frozen. If somebody's forcing you to do yoga right now, please tell us.
He's frozen in a surprisingly flattering sort of.
Well, he looks like he's doing like the John Cena thing. You can't see me, so I don't know. I don't know if that's what he meant.
I just feel like most of the time when your screen freezes, it is not in a flattering moment.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah,
you got very lucky, Isaac.
yeah. Isaac, it was like this.
Was I mid-set? Was I? Did I have a nice
You
smile?
were like mid gesture.
Yeah.
It wasn't like.
So,
No,
No,
no, it was not.
I couldn't bring toys. That was the issue. Yeah.
Right.
couldn't blink twice. Yeah. So yeah, I always freeze with my mouth wide open and my eyes closed.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. It's really weird. Usually it's you with the big technical difficulties.
I'm technical difficulties 80% of the time.
for
So,
sure.
Yeah.
Technical difficulties, man. It's your super alter ego.
Exactly. That's right. So, all right.
Our next question: what bold predictions about the board game industry or board games as a whole do you have for the future? And not necessarily even just 2024, but like, how do you see things going that maybe it's like, well, okay, maybe I haven't thought about that.
Okay.
I don't necessarily know that this is a bold prediction because I think this is a direction that we're already seeing a lot of companies go in, and certainly Arcane Wonders is going in this direction. But mass market games are really like, it's just such a strong push for
Yeah.
games that Barnes and Noble and Target and Walmart will want to carry.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because we were just talking about how big the video game industry is compared to the board game industry. And this is an opportunity for the board game industry to really grow and to really lean into these places that are starting to recognize how important board games are to families outside of the hobby board game industry. And then now we're saying, okay, we know from talking to the buyers at places like Walmart and Target and Barnes and Noble what kinds of games they're looking for.
Yeah.
So we're now taking that extra step back and saying, okay, we need to make games at the right price point with the right themes to get, in the right box size and the right art to get onto those shelves and
Yeah,
get in front of those family eyeballs.
I was talking to somebody. I was talking to somebody a little earlier in the industry earlier today, and they were talking about the fact that their big sellers are the reason they're big IP properties that sell in all the retail stores are the reason why that they can have the hobby game side,
Yeah,
because
it's true.
it's funding the hobby game side, and so
Very
that's
much so.
definitely necessary. And so I think, and I think there's going to be some people who push back and, well, why did you make such a casual game? But if you look at it, it's like that's what's bringing people to the table.
Yep.
I just taught 6 games this weekend to some relatives that came over, and they were like, "Hey, do you know how to play Sushi Go?" And I was like, "I sure do."
Yep.
And
I certainly do.
yeah, and then they looked around the room and they were like, "Oh, okay." But they learned 6 new games that they had never played before. But the entry point is Sushi Go,
Yep.
So
I saw a post recently on Facebook from someone asking for advice about like games that people would recommend for them to play with their family and their game group. They explained that they used to have a really great regular game group like a year ago, but it broke up after a fight over Sushi Go. And they wanted to try to bring it back together, and they were looking for games that would be
That's
good
funny.
choices for that.
Does
I was
anybody
like,
know how
yeah,
to
there
mend
is
the
a
Sushi Go rift?
That's
there's a TV
that's a tough riff.
in that story,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
family torn apart over Sushi Go.
That's hilarious. Oh man. My son always gets the dumplings. He always goes dumpling strategy. So we used to call him the dumpling king every time he would play. So anyway.
Well, have you ever played Sushi Go Golf?
Yes.
I have.
Yes,
It's
where
exactly
you score the
Sushi Go,
lowest.
but you're trying to
Yes.
get the lowest score instead.
Yes.
And it really makes a much more cutthroat game.
Yeah,
It's harder. It's much harder. So how do I fail better?
Right?
So, yeah. So I think I don't know if it's a bold prediction. I think that this year I'm two-sided about Kickstarter and crowdfunding. I am crowdfunding things less because I have less disposable income.
Right.
It's just where we're at as a family. But I'm seeing the vitriol in crowdfunding continue to go higher and higher and higher. And I think that it's going to become less and less worth it to go to crowdfunding sites like Kickstarter and GameFound because of the vitriol, because of the commenters, because of the entitlement. And then when things don't go well, your company's thrown under the bus. So I think this year we're going to see, I don't think we're going to see less of it, but I think it's going to be less advantageous. So
I have certainly found myself much more so in like the last 6 months when I'm talking to game designers who are not associated with the publisher,
yeah,
who are considering like, should I pitch my game to publishers? Should I try to get it, make it on Kickstarter? It was like,
Right.
do you want to start a business
yeah,
and do everything? And
yeah.
and like, have you seen the way that things can go on Kickstarter? Because if you want that,
Yeah.
then do it.
Right.
But if you don't, or if there's any part of it that you don't want,
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
by all means, pitch your game to publishers. Like
Yeah.
let the publishers do the parts that you're not experienced with so that you can focus on making your next game.
Exactly.
Sure.
Yeah. So, yeah. So,
Thank
Derek,
you, Derek.
Like you don't have to share every comment.
I'm gonna share the ones. I'm gonna share
Rose
the
dies
ones
on.
from the people that we
It's-
kind of like sometimes.
It's regular Mountain Dew, Bob. I do have Baja Zero though. They just put that out in cans because the 20th anniversary of Baja Blast.
Nice.
Wow.
So I think mine kind of coming along with what Bree said, right? We do see games more prevalent. I do have more people when I have conversations that it's less about like, do you know what Katana is? Oh, I don't know. But they're saying games like, oh, I picked up. Like I was talking to a lady at church a couple weeks ago, and she's like, "We love playing board games. We play like, Scrabble, and we played this, and she's naming some standard games, and she's like, we picked up this game Wingspan because it said like it had 1 million copies sold, so we grabbed it. And there's this other really pretty one called Everdell next to it, and it looks like it'd be a really good game, but I don't know. I looked up some videos and I watched gameplay, and so people that are super casual, right, are getting into it and reading and looking. I was like, you want to play Everdell? I'll teach you Everdell. It's an amazing game, but it has a huge entry point for people that aren't comfortable with it, right? And even for us, like there's games that I look at and get these fat rule books. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's going to take so long to learn. Is it worth the entry point, right? And so for me, the thing I think I see coming, and I saw this the most, I meant to grab it, Ryan, but the two we got from Cut Games. Keep It 100. And
I just had it on the table because
Humble Brag.
Humble Brag,
Like Cut Games is literally just cut the YouTube page, the website where they make crazy videos, and they said we can publish a game. So I think we're going to see more of like, I'm waiting for the Mr. Beast game because he's a huge gamer. Like he's a competitive.
Didn't he win the Dune Imperial?
Yeah, the Dune Imperial. Like
contest.
You slap a Mr. Beast the board game thing together. Some designer is going to get with him to make a game for
100%.
him, and it's going to blow up. So more of that celebrity Gen Con this year. I felt the celebrity push, and I feel like we're going to see more and more of that as time goes on.
Somebody from Tantrum House, my dentist, just told me he bought some game called Ever Something at Christmas, but hasn't had a chance to play it. So
Everdell.
But that's true because like
Everdale.
the rule books, the accessibility of the rule books, that's very, very important because I think of exactly what you went to with Cut Games. Those two games are party games or social games. They're very quick reads. They're very quick to understand, very quick teaches. But then what game was it the other day? I was trying to learn and I just got overwhelmed. And I read 40, 50 rule books a year. Easy. And so I can't remember what it was, but I got overwhelmed halfway through. I just put it down and I was like, I'll get back to this when I feel better, So I don't know.
I hope their dentist enjoys Ever Something.
Ever something.
Could be everything ever. Could be Everdale. Could be.
That's true.
Could be so many different, so many different things.
So this is looking forward to gaming in 2024. Where do you think you'll play the most games this next year? And who do you think you'll play the most games with?
I assumed that the where question was like physical location.
Yeah.
You intended?
Yep.
So I think this year will probably be more of the same as last year, which means most of my gaming will happen at my dad's house.
Okay.
Nice.
I play. We're currently playing Frosthaven, but we've played like starting at the beginning of the pandemic. We just like went from like they were kind of right at this like teetering point between like they had moved from Flux to Splendor to Pandemic, and then when the actual pandemic hit, I happened to have a copy of Pandemic Legacy, so we started playing that. We played season 1, season 0. We have not played season 2.
That's awesome.
But we played Clank Legacy, and which is a little bit of a spoiler for one of my upcoming exciting games. And then Gloomhaven, Jaws of the Lion, and now Frosthaven, and Crimson Scales, which is the fan-made expansion for Gloomhaven.
That's awesome.
So if anything with them, I have to schedule time to play games that are not Frosthaven because otherwise that's all we ever play.
Okay, cool. We've been playing. We always play games at this house. We have the collection, we have the space, we have a house that has a couple of rooms where we could game a bunch of different things. So we'll probably continue playing at the house, but we have started supporting a game night over at Columbus Got Game, which is a nonprofit here in town. And so we're Thursday nights, Aaron, myself, Bob, we're going down there to help teach some games. The first week I got to sit with a couple of people who had never played Scout before, played Scout with them. I taught Ice Cool to a mom and her kids. They really loved Ice Cool. I got to have one of our friends teach Splitto, a couple other games. It was really fun. And this past week we played Shuffle, Forest Shuffle.
Forest Shuffle.
But yeah, so and Downforce. So, but it's going to be good. I'm looking forward to supporting that organization and just the random people who drop by to try out something new. So, and then
Awesome.
I will probably play the most games with my wife because you may know this already, Isaac, but this happened in our house.
Yeah, I heard. It's like
What am I looking at?
Lorcana.
Oh, okay.
Lorcana. So we're
And this is your first dip into a TCG, right?
No. I was a Magic player for 10, 15 years.
Okay, so this is your wife's first dip into a TCG.
This is my wife's first dip into it. I played Magic, I played Star Wars CCG, I played something else. I played Eye of the Beholder, which was a weird hybrid CCG. And then my wife came up to me when we were at Dyson Diversions, and she said, "Hey, I'm going to go buy some Lorcana packs."
Mm-hmm.
And I looked at her. I was like,
"Don't do it.
Is this a trap?
You know what you're doing?
Yeah, I was like,
know
"Is
what you're
this
getting
a
us
trap?
into?"
I feel like you're trapping me." And she said, "You'll play, right?" I said, "Of course I'll play, and of course I'll get addicted to it." And so, because that's what you do. And so,
I've kept it at arm's length. I bought a lot of product. I've sold more than I bought, which is my feel for TCGs, right? Like I buy enough, I sell the high value stuff, I keep the rest. I don't need a full set collection of everything. And I do that with Magic. And during pandemic, we played it. My son and I played a ton of Magic. I sold the high value stuff. The Lotus petals were super hot. I was selling them off, and then we just played with all the other stuff. So it was a zero entry for me. But man, it's tough. Like it's fun.
So
TCGs are fun. Cracking packs are fun.
I'm thinking about the next time I play Aaron in Lorcana. So anyway,
I love to draft it again. We drafted it at PAX. And at PAX Unplugged, we drafted a box, and it was fun.
Nice. Chad, actually, it's not Bob's fault. It's a lady named Suzanne's fault. Aaron met Suzanne at Dyson Diversions. Suzanne said, "Look what I just bought."
Oh, no.
And Aaron was like, "That's beautiful. I'm going to also buy that." And now we bought a lot of stuff.
And now you are a Lorcana family.
Oh, I didn't need this in my life.
Yeah, most plays for me are home, just like you guys said. I play the most with my wife. Used to be with our kids, but as the kids are out and moved on, people like Hank here, who keeps chiming in, is high up on my list. I play a lot of games with Hank, with Jason and Becky that sometimes chime in on here as well. So, and my Thursday night group, I have a consistent Thursday night group of guys that meet. Sometimes there's 4 of us, sometimes there's like 20 of us. And we play all sorts of stuff. And sometimes we play big party games. Sometimes we play heavier stuff. And, that's probably where most of the new stuff. And that group is very accustomed to, okay, what do you need to play this week, Isaac? And so they're very considerate, and they love being able to say they played stuff that no one else has played yet. That's one of their favorite things. But we got to play one of those games above your head up there, Bree, this week, which we'll talk about in a little bit, and they absolutely loved it. So
that's awesome. Marvel Dice Masters, it wouldn't be a Gaming with Sidekicks show unless we mentioned Marvel Dice Masters.
That was my world. That was my world. So our next question is, you do it. You intro it. This was your idea.
So I had a graphic for this that I didn't make. So
let me see it.
I didn't make it. I just said
it's like the podcast that I'm on.
Bunch of hatred. So I'm just going to do it with my hands.
Okay.
So
I'm ready.
This is called revisionist history. Graphics.
I like
stuff.
that.
Okay. In revisionist history, which is a side piece to this video podcast, we're talking about going back, revisiting one of our old top 10 lists. And we're going to revisit it and see what game we wish we had put on that top 10 list. We're not moving things off of it. We're just saying, man, I've played this a lot since then, and I really wish I had this on my top 10 during that year. So the year is 2019. What, Bree, what would you put on your top 10 list? in
So I don't
2019?
have a top 10 list from past years to refer
Pretend that
to,
it's
but I
yeah.
did pick a couple of games that were
Okay.
released that year, that one of which, had I made a top 10 list that year, would have definitely been on
Okay.
it, which is
Yeah.
Shobu.
Shobu.
Shobu just
Yeah.
blew me away. I'm a huge fan of abstract strategy, so
Yeah.
it was an easy win for me, but I was just blown away by how simple and elegant it is, and yet
Yeah.
still so strategic.
It is. It really is. So
It's a great pick.
my
The
addition to my go ahead.
No, I had one other game, which
Yeah.
was I may or may not have put it on a top 10 at the time, but it has grown on me very much since then, which is Masters of Renaissance. It's the Lorenzo y Magnifico card game,
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay.
which is just fantastic. I'm a big fan of Lorenzo to begin with, but the
Yeah.
original game, but the card game really took me by surprise. I really
I've
enjoyed
never
it.
seen that one. So I know
Terrific.
of it, but that okay.
Have you
Very
played
cool.
Lorenzo y Magnifico?
I
Because that one's fantastic.
I've
It's worker
seen people playing it. I haven't played it
fairly
myself.
traditional worker placement with a little
Yeah,
bit of a
yeah.
twist, but yeah, I recommend both.
Very cool. That's awesome. So for mine, It's a Wonderful World was not on my 2019 top 10 list. It's a game that continues to hit the table. I still enjoy this game. We taught it a couple weeks ago to a friend of ours because they were like, I've never played that. And I was like, it's just such a great drafting game. It
Yes,
just,
it is.
the mechanics work, the artwork's fun. It just works. And every time I play it, I go in doing something different. And it's a lot of fun. So it's still one of my favorite drafting games.
Taking my Arcane Wonders hat off for a second
Yeah.
and digging my Lucky Duck hat out,
Okay.
because I've worked on
Yeah.
and so It's a Wonderful World was actually the first game I ever demoed for them.
Oh, really?
And you might be interested to know that there are 3 expansions out for it. 2 of them are campaign expansions.
Yeah, Bob has
So
the
I
campaign
recommend them all.
pieces. I don't have the campaign pieces. I wonder if I need them.
They're great.
Okay.
They're great.
Okay.
They do what you expect from a campaign game, where
Yeah.
they add a little bit at a time. Like there's just like one new mechanic or a card type that does something slightly different, or
Okay.
if you're
It just
playing
changes around
multiplayer,
enough.
it might give
Yeah.
you access to a card that stays in front of you in the next game that gives you an ability that no one else has.
Gotcha.
Something like
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
that. Okay, Lucky Duck
Interesting.
hat
Yeah.
off.
There we go.
Before
Yeah,
I get in trouble.
No, you're good.
I don't work there anymore.
Yeah.
Sorry, Robert.
It's just one of those games that still hits the table, and I'm like, oh man, I forgot this was in 2019, and it was not on my list. So
That's so good.
Yeah, Bob and I played Shobu at Origins. It was crazy early in the morning. Bob and I play a lot of stupid time games at 3+ o'clock in the morning.
when you can't actually think,
Yeah. Oh, that's the best time to play games, when you can't think.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
2019
should be top 10s. Trails of Teutonica and Era Medieval Age. Okay.
Okay. Hey,
Interesting.
look, Ryan, I made a graphic for you.
You made a graphic. Let's
Mhm.
see. Oh, jeez. What is happening?
I put it together. You can keep it if you want. You don't have
Yeah, I'll definitely do something with it.
to.
So.
I was gonna cross out the year, but I couldn't do that
Okay,
fast
That's
enough.
fine.
So I went back to my
Wow.
2019 list, and I purposely went through and looked at what games have I played since like past 2019,
Okay.
right? Like they would have made my list, not because I played them then and they didn't, but I discovered them later.
Yeah.
Right? And so for me, the first one I thought of was a game I started playing probably in 2021, and became such a mental challenge for me because I could not figure out how to beat it. And when I finally, like, the game clicked, literally 40+ plays. This used to be our end the night on Thursday nights because they would whoop me in this. My friend was just Res Arcana, and Res, I am a slow, meticulous, build-it up player, and you cannot do that in Res.
No.
Res is a win.
That's why I
super
get
fast.
constantly beaten in that game.
And once I learned how to play fast in that game, I was good. And
Okay.
I figured out the strategy. But man, that's a game. Had I discovered it back then and had the plays I had in now, no question, it would have been on my
Yes.
top 10.
That's cool. All right. That just about does it. Bree, tell us about yourself. Tell us about your time in the industry, how you started working with Arcane Wonders. Give us the whole shebang.
Okay. So I was born in Pennsylvania.
Whoa. Whoa, we've got
You literally said
25
the whole thing.
Yeah. We've got
No,
25 minutes. Yeah.
So yeah, I actually got my start in the industry doing contract work. I worked as a contractor for as a community manager for the Dwellings of Elder Vale Kickstarter campaign.
Oh, okay.
And that was actually my first paid job in the board game industry.
Nice.
And I've worked on a bunch of other big campaigns. I worked on the Seventh Citadel. I worked
Nice.
for Mythic Games for a while, and then things happened.
Yeah.
Mythic happened. I worked for Lucky Duck, as I mentioned, for quite a while, and then I just recently, in July of this year, like a week before Gen Con, started working for Arcane Wonders.
Nice.
And I really do just kind of feel like I've landed. Like this is my family, right?
Very cool.
It's just such a fantastic place to work. And had that really kind of reinforced by this past week where the 9 of us spent a week together on the Dice Tower cruise and just got to like do fun things and also play test a bunch of games. And yeah, Bob, that's right. He says he remembers me at Origins 2019 with a loudspeaker teaching Dwellings. Yeah, we had
Nice.
a microphone and we were just like trying to be heard over the crowd.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's me.
There's
And so everybody in this little chart went on the Dice Tower cruise together last week.
That's
and
great.
Got a chance to get to know each other, spend some time together, do some things that were not gaming. But we also spent a lot of time playtesting games that we are going to publish or that we're deciding whether or not to publish, that we're deciding whether or not to localize from
Nice.
from languages outside of the outside of English. So World Wonders got a ton of play on the cruise, and we in fact have an expansion coming for it in the next few months.
Very
man.
cool.
Uh,
I've heard great things about it.
It's
I have
so
not
good.
played it myself. I saw you were playing it this weekend, right?
It's so good.
You enjoy it, Isaac?
So good. I'm a polyomino fiend. That's my
Yeah,
favorite type
yeah.
of game style.
This is your game then.
Oh my gosh.
So the expansion will have 9 more of wooden monuments and a new game mode that actually makes all of the monuments more important
Wow.
because
I
right
love it.
now there are multiple paths to victory, and
Yeah.
building lots of monuments is one of them, but you don't have to do it. And we did get some feedback that people wanted the monuments to be even more important.
Yeah.
So that's this new game mode that actually
love it.
has like ways to gain extra points by monuments being next to each other or like meeting certain other requirements by the end of the game, as opposed to
Nice.
right now where a monument just has requirements for where you build it.
Right. Yeah, I love
And then
that.
you get the points for it and you're done.
That's
Very
so
cool.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's coming probably like March, April. We're hoping
That's
to have
awesome.
that out. Yeah, the Mundo expansion.
Nice. You're going to have to teach me this weekend.
It
TentrumCon.
literally, I can't bring it. Maybe I'll sneak it in my suitcase. We'll see. It might be my one big game I bring.
Well, somebody might have a copy of it.
Yeah, I'll
Where are you
pass it
going?
out there.
TantrumCon?
TantrumCon this
TantrumCon?
weekend.
Oh yeah, we're sponsoring TantrumCon, so there are
Ooh, so it'll
definitely
be there.
It'll
copies.
be there then.
It will be there. It will be in the library. There will be
Okay.
posters or banners with the artwork on it, and
All right.
encouraging
Well,
people
teach
to
it
play
to
our
me, man.
games.
It
Want to learn
looks like a game that on the table, and again, I've conditioned my Thursday group of people. Right, taught this to 4 of us played. One guy, Hank, was one of the guys that played, loves games, knows games. 2 guys that are a little more casual. Right, the teach was quick. It was actually my first time playing it, and I was like, we're gonna go through it. I'm gonna read this through, and it was a quick teach, and they picked it up super fast. But on the table, they're like, how'd you kickstart this? This is a Kickstarter game. I'm like, it's not. This is the out of the box version of this game. They're like, oh, this is deluxe, like deluxe, right? Like, I'm like, no,
this is the
like,
only version.
yeah. I'm
It
like,
is the
this
only
is like,
version.
I mean, and the first thing I thought of, and I don't like, but I love to compare companies when people are doing good things. It reminded me of an Eagle Griffin quality game out of the box, off
Thank
the
you.
shelf. Like, this
That's
is a
huge praise. Thank
beautiful,
you.
yeah, but it's a beautiful game, and the pieces are gorgeous.
Yeah.
I taught my wife and son last night, 2 nights ago, and they picked it up super fast, loved it. My son is a cutthroat player, and it lets you be cutthroat if you want to be cutthroat.
Nice.
You don't have to be. You really don't have to be.
But you can. You absolutely can, because in any
Yeah.
given round, then the game is played over 10 rounds. But in any given round, there's a very restricted set of buildings and roads
yeah.
and towers that you can access. And if you need a tower and someone else buys the tower, you're
Sorry.
not getting a tower till the next round at the earliest, because there is only one.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Hank,
Gotcha.
absolutely beautiful quality on the board, on the table. Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
And speaking of table presence, Frank in your YouTube chat actually mentioned that he's looking forward to Rust, The Dance of Love, which is another game that we have coming out later this year. And in fact,
I don't even know about this.
So I played it for the first time 2 years ago at Dice Tower West, and Mahir Shah, the designer, was on the Dice Tower cruise. So he actually brought, we have the most current prototype, and he brought it to show to all of us. And I mean, just like all of the changes that he's made in the 2 years since I've played it were really, really shown. But
Nice.
it has an incredible table presence because it's recreating this dance from my roommate on the cruise taught me the name of the place that it's from. I think it's called Gujarat in India, and it's a dance that they perform there. So yeah, if you look at this the close up of this picture,
Okay.
all of those circles spin.
What?
So during the game, you're going to be spinning the central circle, which will rotate all of the gears around the outside.
That's really cool.
And then you also can turn the individual circles as part of the gameplay. So what it's doing is simulating this dance experience where all of these people are dancing together in circles, but then, as the circles meet, they exchange partners and move to a different circle.
That's
so you're
cool.
kind of passing around from circle to circle. It
That's
has a really incredible table presence, and I'm very, very excited.
So it's dice placement.
So it's dice drafting. So you're placing dice on your player board. There's no dice placement out onto the center board.
Okay.
But you are earning dice from that
each
center
of
board
those.
and then drafting them to place onto your board to meet certain criteria.
Nice.
Great cover too. That's awesome.
Really cool. That's awesome.
So that one we're currently aiming for probably a Spiel release. I think that's not set in stone by any means. So
the near future.
Yes, but we're definitely trying for late 2024.
Nice. Adele, thank you for bringing that up in the chat. That's really awesome. Very cool. So what else? Talk about Arcane for a minute.
Sure.
We have this weekend, Bob, myself. Actually, you just posted a review, so shout out to Game with Sidekicks. The review went up for Neotopia today.
It did hit today.
Yeah, Neotopia. This is a really cool property. I was telling Bree before the show that the components are really cool. Just straight out of the box, components are cool. But like a lot of times, the look of something's just kind of plastered on it.
Yeah.
But between the iconography and what you're trying to do, like completing these environmental projects, it really makes sense. Like I feel like the icon choices and the choices of like having these different districts. I think it's set in 2055. I think
some
it is.
Near future. Yeah.
It's really
has
cool.
These delightfully clacky pieces. I see you're opening the box, so we'll get a chance to see this. But it's got like kind of Azul quality, like clackiness, but the tokens are round instead of square.
Yeah. And that's what I was thinking. It was like when I was my wife didn't play it yet, but I was thinking about the fact that she loves Azul, and Azul is such a tactile game, and it is, I don't know, this was an easy, just running through the rule book and sitting here and learning it for our first time this weekend. It was a very easy teach. Like I'm going to be bringing this. I was talking about the game night that we're going to be doing on Thursday nights with Columbus Scott Game. This is an easy win for that group. Awesome. Because there's people from all different backgrounds, people who are Magic players who are like, I'm just checking this out. Yeah. And there are people who have never played board games outside of categories. And so this is one that I'm bringing up there, next week. We'll be at TantrumCon this week, but I'm bringing this up there next week because it was an easy teach. Like it was easy to jump into.
I also shipped copies to them for the Play to Win and the library, so there will be copies of Neotopia for people.
Nice.
Attention
Very
on.
cool. We'll be
Yeah,
teaching it this weekend then.
Yeah, I
Fantastic.
said in my in review, I touched on the fact that it's an abstract, but it's an abstract with, like exactly what you said, Ryan, with a theme that makes sense. It
Yeah,
wasn't just
it
like
does.
like I don't know, it's cities. Like no, it actually made like it flowed and made sense. And it is much. It's hard. It's easy to understand. It was hard. The placement's hard. Like it's much
is.
harder than it feels like it should be.
Yeah.
And no, it's solid abstract game.
And it can be cutthroat too, because one of the interesting things, so in Neotopia, you're trying to complete project cards. The project cards basically show you a pattern that you're trying to make. And so Bob put himself in a situation where he had created most of a pattern that I was holding. And so I just went in there and I just dropped a red one in there, and I was like, 5 points right there, buddy.
Thanks.
And he was like, oh crap, you know?
Yeah, and he even just mentioned in the chat that the fact that you can't place a matching art piece down on as the next card placement,
difficulty of that
because although this isn't necessarily immediately obvious, but the cards with matching artwork all share the same colors, like the 2 colors in the patterns that you have to make that are on those cards. So if you didn't have that restriction, it would be very easy to just chain another pattern by just adding one more tile to the board, but being forced to change which artwork piece goes down next makes you, it forces you to diversify, which is what it's trying to simulate. And then we were talking before the show started about how at 2 players you can, if you want to, you can really leave each other alone. And do your own thing. At 3 and especially at 4, you absolutely cannot.
And that's
you cannot avoid getting in each other's way.
Yeah. At 4, that's what I'm waiting to try. So I'm gonna try to get the family around tomorrow and be like, listen, everybody sit down. I'm teaching this game because I want to try it.
And you absolutely have to be mindful of trying to make your largest group of your color in each region.
Yes.
Because it's very easy for people to cut you off, sometimes not even on purpose. And that's a big source of.
Well, I was sitting there, I'm looking at the colors that are available, and I'm like, he's blue. I'm not going to put down another blue token that's touching a blue token. I don't even care if my card calls for it. Like I'm sitting there thinking through, I'm not going to give you another point, because what we didn't realize was that majorities, your contiguous line is counted as part of your score before it's doubled and before all of that takes place. And I was like, man, not double, triple for the lowest. Like, oh man, it's a good game, real good game. So
I'm glad it got you thinking.
Yeah, it's good. So
and that and Age of Wonders Planetfall and Furnace and Gap and World Wonders will all be at Tantrum Con.
Yeah. Planetfall, I haven't played it yet, but I'm very, very intrigued in playing it. It was on Tim Choon's top 5 list this year, right?
I was very excited to see that.
Yeah.
It's also, much like Neotopia, really a very easy onboarding. Like learning how to play it, really it's a very
I might
quick
run
teach.
through the rules then, because I definitely want to play it. The artwork looks phenomenal.
Yeah, I read through
so
the
it
rules.
plays 2 to 6. And even at max player count of 6, you can play it in 45 minutes. Like it is a fast-paced game, but really interesting decision.
If you already know how to play it, I'm bringing it this weekend. Then.
Yeah, I read through the rules. We just got to get it to the table. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's plan on that.
Good stuff.
Speaking of good games, we have a unique Game Chat Presents this week.
Yes.
Game Chat Presents Pick 5. Usually it's 5 games on our list that fit some type of category, and this time it's games that we don't have in our grubby little hands, as Ryan said at the beginning. These are games we're looking forward to in 2024, and we've seen a lot of content here recently from different content creators on games that are upcoming into 2024, releases that have been talked about, have been previewed, and I've gotten to play a few. All the ones on my list, I don't know about you, Ryan, I've actually played all 5 of mine.
Really?
Yeah.
I have not. Okay. Interesting.
Right, so that's just I went off of, I got my hands in, even if it was just a demo on this somehow, and I'm excited for what I saw. So,
I have played one of mine.
Oh,
and I've played a previous version of one of them.
Perfect.
Interesting. Okay.
So we'll start with Bree. Just no particular order, just one of the 5, and what gets you excited about that game?
So I foreshadowed this a little bit, but the first one on my list is Clank Legacy 2.
Yeah.
So that's supposed to fulfill this year. Clank Legacy is by far my favorite Legacy game, hands down. Nothing else even close.
Yeah.
So I am super excited for the second one.
Clank Legacy is one of my favorite Legacy games. We haven't finished it though. I think we have three sessions left. Me and Aaron really need to. I bought that for my wife. She's a huge Clank fan. Bought it for my wife 3 years ago for her birthday, and she loved it. So I need to actually finish it. So my first one I'm going to throw up there is River Valley Glassworks. This one's from All Play. I'm really excited about this one because it is the way that it's been deemed is a Azul. Kind of like Critter Azul, where you're taking these glass pieces and putting them into display, but when you interact with the stream, the river, it's actually disrupting, and it's going to change up how these things flow down.
So is this a roll and write?
No, this is like there's a river portion that goes through the middle of the table, and I think everybody has their own player boards and little glass pieces that come off. So
cool.
Yeah,
I thought it
I'm
was.
really
I think
excited
it's
about
designed by Matt Riddle, and I don't know his
Ben
first name, but
Pinchback and
Pinchback.
which
Yep.
I've only played roll and writes by
and
them,
I
so I
think
just kind of
Adam Hill-
assumed. But
Yeah, Adam Hill also. So
Okay.
I think all the folks at Motor City Gameworks had a hand in this one. So
yeah, that one definitely caught my eye.
Yep.
I didn't know enough about it to put on my list, so. But
I'm
excited
excited
for
about it. So yep.
Yeah,
So-
you know what else is a really good I'm looking for it on my shelf. What's the Riddle and Pitchback, the Christmas one? Isn't that Riddle Pitchback, the card game, the 25th century Christmas tree one? Is that not them? Who did that one? Do you know what I'm talking
Holly
about?
Jolly?
Yeah, Chad, are
Yeah,
you still
Holly
here?
Jolly. Holly
Holly
Jolly.
Jolly. Yep.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
them too, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
they do
love
a
that
great
game.
job with their card games.
Yeah.
So yep.
All right. Which order are you going off?
I've got this
Top
one
down.
right here.
Okay, perfect. Veil of Eternity. I am so excited about this game. It is one that Ryan Schoon introduced us to at PAX Unplugged. Myself, Danny, Standrew, and Board Game Mama Heather all played this, and it was. Oh, I think Bob. Bob, did you play this with us? I
I'll
think
play
you
it
did.
too.
It was
It's on his list.
ridiculous how.
I think he froze again.
Yeah, I think so too.
He froze again.
Yes, he did. So
So
I'm trying
Veil
to
of
remember who's
Eternity,
publishing this in English markets. Isn't it Renegade? It's Renegade.
Renegade. Yeah.
This
so
was a
I'll-
big pickup from Mandu. Like that's such a
Yeah.
great game choice from them.
I'll fill it in. I'll fill in the details. That giant yak angel that you see in the center of
Is that what
this
that is? A
image-
yak angel?
it's a yak angel. It's a yak dragon angel.
Yak angel, yak
Yeah.
angel.
Yeah. You have to befriend it and teach it the ways of humans. There
Okay.
we go. That's the
Using
game.
what kind of mechanics? I don't know really
Um,
anything about this except for the cover art.
Feeding mechanics.
Okay.
So
My back.
that's, yeah,
Yes.
you're back.
Here we go.
I filled in the blanks though. You have to befriend this monster and you have to
Yep.
learn it to be human.
Not just
That's
monster,
exactly it.
yak
Yeah.
angel.
The
Yeah,
yak angel.
as Bob put on there, that is the most accurate. It gives off Res Arcana vibes. It is card play, how well you can get the cards to work together.
Okay.
There's some push and pull on what you
So I'll be
can
terrible
buy
at
and
it.
how much
That's
you can
awesome.
spend. Yeah, essentially.
That's
Yeah,
good.
super good. I believe who's publishing this? It was a Eston release. Yes, thank you. Renegade's bringing it forward this year. So super excited.
That's
Drafting,
really
I
cool.
love drafting. That's a big part
Great.
of it as well.
Great choice.
Open drafting. Yay. I'll be
Number
terrible
two.
at it. I want to definitely play it then. So all right.
All right, you don't have
Bree.
my list, so you probably don't have covers pulled up.
Sorry. Yeah.
But my next one might be on someone else's list. I don't
Okay.
know. It's Gnome Hollow.
Gnome
So-
Hollow. I heard about Gnome Hollow earlier
I saw
today.
Grant talking about it.
That
Sorry?
it looks
I saw-
really cool.
Yeah, I saw Grant talking about it, but I don't know a lot about it.
So I played Gnome Hollow at Dice Tower West last year, right before it took off. Like Ammon brought it to Gamma like the following week, and that was when the whole thing exploded.
Okay.
And he got a ton of offers for it. So he's publishing that with the op, and it's just spectacular. So you were talking about watercolor earlier, and I was thinking about it then because he, in addition to designing and completely prototyping his own game
Mhm.
down to magnetic player boards,
What?
Yes.
he also painted all of the artwork himself, watercolor.
Amazing.
That's
So
super cool.
it's stunning, and the gameplay is it fits into a category that I absolutely love, which is simple decision making, but
Yeah.
highly strategic.
So cool.
That's
So
really
very
cool.
easy to teach, but hard to be good at. Hard
That's
to be
awesome.
the best at, I suppose.
I'm very excited about that
Yeah, I'm
one.
so excited for that one. So I think that's coming at Gen Con. I don't know
Yep.
if that's official yet.
I believe so. So my number 2 is going to be Foundations of Metropolis. So I have not played Foundations of Rome because I do not have a kidney to sell, and I don't have space in my house. So
So
Yes,
this
you
is
do.
this is our answer to that, right?
Yes, you
Yes, we'll
do,
have
and
retail
yes, you do.
pricing and a retail size box.
because I don't have those two things, this is my option.
And I
Foundations of
appreciate especially
Metropolis.
that you included this because I deliberately did not include any of our new releases, of Arcane Wonders new releases on my
Okay.
list.
Well, we're doing
So
it
I'm
for you.
very excited
So,
about many of them. So very happy to have
Yeah.
this.
I've
Yes,
got.
I'm
I've
very
got one
excited
on
about
my
Foundations
list
of
too.
Metropolis because I'm going to be able to afford it and I will own it. So,
And yeah, so the gameplay for Metropolis is exactly the same as Foundations of Rome. It's just in a smaller box. It's polyominoes, like cardboard pieces instead of the
yeah.
plastic buildings. And
And
it's
if
a
I'm being
different
honest, I
skin. But
like that skin better than Rome. So
there
if
you
I'm
go.
being honest, I mean,
There you go.
I have no connection to Rome. I'm like, yeah, that's fine. It's Rome. Cityscape, city buildings, city, anything city. I'm like, I like that,
Yep.
So yeah,
There
Rome
you
is also a city that you're building.
it's an
Sorry?
old city.
An old city.
It's an old
Dude,
city.
Foundations
It's not
of
a
Rome
new
is
city.
so good.
I understand, but that's because you own it.
Yeah, it's so good. That was my big purchase for
Yeah.
myself last year. My first Gen Con, I went and bought it, went right up to the booth, picked it up, kind of pre-ordered it, and I remember I said, "Wait, how heavy is this? I have to walk this all the way back to my hotel." Oh no, my arms were like
Decisions.
cramped up at the end. But yeah, they begged me to bring it to game night almost every Thursday.
Why don't you bring it to Tantrum Con?
Oh yeah. Let me put it in nothing that I would ever travel
You
on
can say
a
that you're
plane with
bringing
that.
a baby.
And I don't know if they have a copy because I don't have any in the warehouse right now. You may notice that I don't even have a copy on my shelves
Yeah.
because we literally don't have it in the warehouse at all right now. The second printing from the second Kickstarter is on water. Like it's coming, but it's not here yet.
Yeah.
So I have no copies to send to anyone right now.
But I do love that is going to provide a easy entry level for an amazing game.
Oh yeah.
A game that should be played by probably one of my favorite humans in Emerson. But speaking of which, I got to add Emerson to our short list to get him on here.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. So I played a word game with Emerson and didn't know who he was. It was my first Origins, and I'm sitting there next to this person. I'm like, "Hey, what's up? I'm Ryan. We have this board game website called One Board Family." He's like, "Oh, okay, cool. I'm Emerson," and I'm like, "Oh, hold it. You're the guy who just released that game called Century Spice Road."
That's hilarious.
So, yeah.
I had a similar experience just at PAX just last month where I was talking to, I think it was Mandy Hutchinson and someone else in our booth, just sitting on the couches in the Gap Lounge chatting. And then I turned to the other person and I was like, I don't think we've met. I'm Bree. And he goes, oh, hi, I'm Quan Chai. I was like,
that's awesome.
Oh, I should know who you are.
Yeah, I know who you are. Yeah. I have your artwork everywhere.
Everywhere, yeah.
That's awesome.
Hey, Ryan, what do you got next
number
for me?
two. I've got this one right here.
Boom, there we go. Becky just
Nice.
mentioned it a minute
Yes.
ago, and Jason mentioned it on his list. I cannot wait. My wife asks for this game all the time.
My wife and my daughter have asked for it multiple
She
times.
loved this so much that she took it and taught it to people, which is not her normal. Like
Yeah.
she loves to play games. She doesn't usually take them to teach. She loved it. I love it. I think it's the best of the three in that group. But it is going to be a game that when it gets in more people's hands, they're just going to be excited about it. And the scratch and sniff donuts that Chad included as he didn't. He nixed the scratch. Oh, okay. So the game is just amazing.
Yeah.
We'll just leave it at that.
And word on the street is that some people will be able to get that game in 3 days.
That's what I hear. I hear there might be
That's
a few
what I've
copies.
heard.
I might be
So-
buying one, even though I'm getting it on Kickstarter.
I might also be doing the exact same thing because I have no impulse control.
It's fair. It's fair.
So, all right.
Yeah, accurate, Bob. More fun than it's supposed to be.
Bree, number 3.
What is my number 3? Okay, so the remaining 3 on this list I have not played, and I actually don't know a whole lot about. But Chad is back. Says no scratch and sniff. Box smelled like an old New York City cab.
That's good. That's good. So,
But so my next one is Metro Runner.
okay.
And that I really know very little about this, but I am just such a sucker for anything cyberpunk. Like I absolutely love that setting. And this is not showing up on Board Game Geek.
I got it.
I'm like, wait, where is it?
There it
It's one word. That's why.
is.
Yeah, so it's coming from Thunderworks, and it's got a cyberpunk theme, and
Nice.
that's like a combination of a cyberpunk theme and a publisher I trust.
Yeah.
It's like, sure, yes, I definitely want to play this game. I'm excited for it.
That's awesome.
I have
Very cool.
Tamashi from Awakened Realms sitting in my living room right now, waiting for me to play it. Same thing. I just
Nice.
I didn't need to know a whole lot about it to back
Yeah.
it.
This I'm gonna own this. I don't
Yep.
care. So
Yep.
awesome.
Yeah, looks pretty cool.
My next one is Dracula versus Van Helsing.
Another
This one's-
Mandu game. Yeah,
Mandu
this looks
game.
great.
Yeah, it's a 2-player. I love. I don't know. There's something about that 2-player Dracula. Like I'm digging it. I'm really enjoying it, and so I'm really excited. Actually, 25th Century Games is bringing this over to the United States and doing the publishing, and so Dracula versus Van Helsing is on my list for this year. So
Good choice.
Are there other 2-player games you enjoy that are like that style, like a
I like
character versus character?
What was it? Well, I like what is it? The I'm trying to pencil first game where the two teams, Foxen and
Oh yeah, Skull
yes.
Hollow.
Skull Collar. Yeah, I love Skull Collar because it's like it's just you're trying to
Asymmetrical
outwit the
one-on-one.
other person. Yeah.
Yep.
So I don't know. I like my 2-player games. They have a special place in my heart.
That's
Me
what I was
too.
alluding at. What Bob was saying.
I have 3 whole sections on, like 3 whole cubes on my Calyx that are just 2-player games. It's like
Gotcha.
Caper Europe and Sabotage and
Yeah.
just like there's so many great 2-player games. And I just played Garden Guests from Van Ryder on the
Okay.
cruise, which is not specifically 2. It actually plays 2 to 6.
Okay.
But it plays really well as a 2-player
Nice.
abstract. Oh, there we go. Yes.
Oh, nice.
It
Okay.
looks so beautiful and friendly,
It's
and
so
it is
mean.
so mean.
So
Oh, really?
mean.
It's
it's-
delightful
it's
and
so
awesome and
That's good.
mean.
so mean.
I
And
thought my
truly
wife would
just
love it
destroyed
because
me
it
at
was.
it, and it was fantastic.
Adele was asking, is Dracula versus Van Helsing a trick taker? I don't think you're
Don't
using
think
these
so.
tiles to beat one another, to outdo
So it's
the other
dexterity?
number.
Like you're.
It's like hand management. So,
Oh,
yeah. So, got a tracking number for Donut Shop.
It's
Yeah.
exciting. It's
It
exciting.
will be there shortly.
Number 3 from my
All right.
favorite. Oh no! Oh, you messed
Sorry.
up my order, Brian.
I'm sorry.
So that
Yes,
one I
wait,
actually
back to
have.
pencil first.
I actually
There
have
we go.
that one. Yeah, so there's the box.
Pottery
Sunrise
game. This looks
Sunrise
really
at the
good.
Studio. It's a new one from Pencil First. Ed and Steve put this one together. If you have ever played a game from Pencil First,
Hmm.
it is a Pencil First game. It is the
Yeah,
same
yeah.
easy entry, beautiful artwork, simple style that plays in like 20 minutes, but has good decision making trees. Man, it like you're gonna play it and you're gonna be like, oh, floriferous. Oh, the it
Yeah,
feels like some of those other ones. And the art, and you show the box there, but the art is super solid.
Yep.
It's got a lot of
Very
very very pretty pottery pieces to it. I love it. I'm super excited. They asked me to send it back. I'm dragging my heels because I really like playing it. So
Yeah, Yep. So gonna wait for Milkman to deliver in a few months to have milk and donuts at game night. That's
Nice.
good.
oh,
That's
there's
good.
your
There's
answer.
so
about
many
Dracula.
food
Yep.
games coming out now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We have
It's
one
a
coming out later
unique
this year.
take on area control. We're also bringing over Jekyll and Hyde and Scott versus Scotland Yard, which is more a classic rooted trick taking game.
Perfect.
Yep.
Steph
Excited about
Hodge
all
has
those.
talked about both of those, and like she's so excited that they got signed. That
That's-
25th
yeah.
Century is bringing them over.
That's
She
really
says they're
good.
both fantastic.
Yeah. So what's your number 4?
So this one I know nothing about except its title, but
Okay.
I'm intrigued. It's Quacks of Quedlinburg Duel.
I am too. Yeah.
I just taught
interested.
some of my coworkers Quacks for the first time over the
Okay.
weekend or last week, and then when I saw this on someone else's top, most anticipated games of this year, I was like, they're making a dueling version of a game I already love. I'm definitely excited
Yeah.
for that.
My daughter and her boyfriend play Quacks 2 times a weekend
Nice.
when he comes to visit, and so I'm definitely interested in. Oh, you've got some screenshots up here.
I
I'm
got you.
interested in what changes and how it changes. So,
Yeah, it looks interesting.
yep.
We
So-
may or may not be working on Furnace Duel for some time.
Ooh, I love Furnace.
I love Furnace.
So good.
So, okay. Well, you'll have to keep us up to date on that.
We'll keep you posted.
Very cool. My next one is going to be Heat Heavy Rain. This is the expansion to Heat. It actually comes in the middle of February or end of February 23rd, I think, maybe. Anyway, it's coming in this February, so it's coming up quick. And so I'm very happy about additional Heat. There's going to also be an orange car in it, and hopefully Days of Wonder will include all of the player mats so that I don't get screwed out of not being able to play one character. So, but we all know if you ask Asmodee for a replacement piece, they say too bad. So,
It's too bad.
am I airing my
So-
grievances on here?
Just a smidge. We'll do a
Just a
replacement.
smidge.
We'll do a replacement piece.
Anyway.
Do my Arcane Wonders one next because I'm subbing my last one. I told you, I sub these lists out.
Oh, you subbed it. So you're subbing your
Do my
last one?
Arcane
Yeah.
Wonders one.
Yeah, I got it. I'm trying to find it. Hold it.
So Robert taught Bob and I this. The first thing we did at Origins
First thing.
2023. Literally, we ran over and said, "Can
Yes.
you please teach us this game?" Because Derek's excited about it. We love Call of Duty. Teach us the game. And he's like, I don't know who was working at the booth, was like, well, let me show you. And Robert's like, nope, I'm doing the first teach. Pushed him out of the way, made a big deal about it. And we
Fantastic.
both got up for that game. And I will tell you, Bob and I are not skirmish gamers. We are not war gamers. We're not skirmish gamers. We walked up from that thing and both said, yeah, we got to have this.
Yeah.
Like this is
awesome.
done so beautifully to the IP. It's going to reach people just for the IP alone.
Correct.
And they're not going to be disappointed. What we played on the table was amazing. 1v1, and then it's gonna scale up, right? 2v2.
Yep.
4 free for all, right? I think it's gonna go up higher than 4 even, right? If you put
I
sets
think
together.
I think with the right components, you'll be able to play with up to 6.
Yeah, that's
But
crazy.
it will all
What a-
depend on which version of the game you buy.
Yeah, super excited. If you love skirmish, if you love Call of Duty, it's a home run hit potential for you. But I think even for people that don't like that type of game, they're going to find a lot to love
That's
on
cool.
this. Yeah, there you go.
Fantastic.
Bob's in the same way.
I am not a shooter. Like when it comes to
Yeah.
like first person shooter games, I suck at them. Like I have tried many times because so many of my friends play them and I just can't get into them. But the board game is fantastic. Like
That's awesome.
it's so if you love Call of Duty, you should
Yeah.
definitely check it out because of the IP. And
Yeah.
if you don't love Call of Duty, but you like, hidden movement, when it's interesting because a lot of the time hidden movement games are one person is making hidden
Yeah.
moves and everyone else is trying to find them.
Yeah.
And in this one, both players or all players are
love
making
that.
hidden move on every turn.
Kill somebody. Yeah.
And
That's cool.
it's just great. And it's
That's
fast paced.
Very cool.
I
All right,
really
last
love it.
last most anticipated game 2024.
So mine, and this is the one that I know the least about, but it's Ironwood from Mind Clash Games.
Okay.
And I am just like, almost anything from Mind Clash is an easy sell for me at this point. And this one just looks great. And I really I know, let's see, rules light, highly asymmetric, card driven tactical game for 1 to 2 players. Like you were speaking my love language right there.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And look at that art. It's so cool.
Yeah, that's really awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool. I don't know anything about this one.
Is that the
I
board?
know very little.
Okay.
It looks like Root.
Yeah,
Huh,
area
yeah, it does.
movement, card play, conflict resolution, command cards, hand management, multi-use cards, pick up and deliver, and it has a solo mode.
That's cool.
Those are the mechanics listed on BGG for it.
Nice.
It does look like
Oh,
Root, Bob.
Yeah, it looks like Rudy.
I
Yeah,
agree.
that's awesome.
And Isaac.
Yeah, Bob, same thing.
Yeah.
We know what we know.
My last one is going to be the reprint of Scoville. Scoville is a game that I've always wanted but have never gotten a hold of.
I didn't even know it was
Trick-or-Treat-
getting a reprint. That's awesome.
Trick or Treat Studios has the rights, and they are reprinting Scoville, and I'm hoping that it comes this year. I'm pretty sure it is. But Scoville's getting a reprint, and I'm very excited about it because I want to have that. So,
And
Chad also says it looks like Root.
And you've never played it, right?
I've never played Scoville.
Gosh,
I've
it's
never played it
so-
either,
so
and I'm
good.
now very excited for the reprint.
Yeah.
It is one of our favorites in our house. We've played it for years. I have the expansions. Just very much enjoy the mechanics of that game.
Yeah.
By
I've
far.
never played it, but I want to so bad. So
I just really like hot food.
that's exactly the same here. Yeah. I like hot food and peppers. So
Before you show the image, I pulled the
Yes.
image up. I could go grab the box, but one of my favorite dexterity games. One of my had to have this when I saw just the box.
yep.
I brought it to every convention that I drive to, and everyone that plays is like, "What is this stupid thing?"
Yep.
And when they play it, they're like, "This is amazing!" Enough to get this man Chad Elkins to bring it to the masses, and that's Hamster Roll, or as
Nice.
he's renamed it, Hamster Roll. I
Yep.
liked the German name better, but Hamster Roll is a dexterity game that you have to have. This thing, Bree, have you seen this or played it ever?
I think I may have seen someone playing it, but I've never played it myself.
It's amazing. It's just this
It's so much
giant
fun.
wooden wheel. You get these weird shapes, and you've got to place them. And the roll slowly starts to roll across the
Yeah.
table.
Yep.
And as pieces fall out, they go to you. You get rid of all your pieces, you win.
Nice.
And man, Chad and I had a lot of fun just talking about this game and what it brings to the table. And I'm super excited that people are going to get a chance
Yeah,
to
yeah.
own it, because it has been like that. Like, oh, I've never even
It's
seen
been,
that.
yeah, it's been out of
type
print
of
for a
game.
long time.
Yeah. So Chad's going to bring it to the masses like he does
Yep.
with a lot of really good games. So
you,
Just
Chad.
a heads up, Chad is putting a Kickstarter together that is ridiculous, and I'm afraid I'm going to have to get a second mortgage just to buy all the stuff. So he's doing this thing called the Imports Collection at the beginning of February, and it is like wild the amount of stuff that is in this that you have the ability to buy. So yeah. So I don't know.
Pablo 42's comment. Yeah,
Let's see.
I was gonna get this, but repositioning the wheel once you're on the table sounds fiddly. It is not. It is very easy to
It
slide
is.
this
It
across
is.
any amount of table space because it's bulky and it's heavy. And when you move it, it moves. Like it's not flimsy.
Yeah.
And so you can slide. I slide this thing all the time and pieces stay.
Up your pausing.
Pieces literally will, and if you look at the image like up there at like the 10 and 2 spot, and you're like, how is this
Yeah.
piece hanging out still?
Yeah.
It's great. Super, super fun.
Yeah. But where are the hamsters? That's
There's
the
no
thing.
hamsters.
We need little wooden hamsters.
We demand hamsters.
So,
Yeah, and scratch and sniff also.
Yes.
Also, I want it to smell like a hamster.
Yes, hamster smell.
Ugh. Okay.
Ugh.
We
In
are
the New York City
way
cab.
over time.
We are
Bree, this
indeed.
has been super fun.
This has been great. Thank you so much for having me.
What's one game that you're playing right now? We're going to throw one game out there that we're playing.
Wonderland's War.
Wonderland's War.
I just
Great
recently
choice.
got my copy. I'm actually going to be on stream with Raina on Friday
Nice.
painting
Ooh, very nice.
minis from the Wonderland's War Kickstarter.
Oh, awesome.
And I just brought it to my family, and they loved it. It's a big step up for them from Quacks of
Yeah.
Quedlinburg, but I basically pitched it to them as Battle Quacks.
Yeah. It's quacks
I
with
did
some
love-
battling.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Becky,
So,
I will be at Origins. So if you
Oh,
were,
yeah.
if you were looking to meet me at Origins, I will be there. I will be at the Arcane Wonders booth.
Yes.
Come,
so
come
will
introduce
we.
yourself.
I've been playing this game called Slava. It is a trick-taking game. It is the most G.I. Joe looking thing that the Netherlands has ever put out. Brother in Arms Games, Brother in Games. I've got to give it to them. They have put together a fantastic game. I'm going to play this with you this weekend because I want you to know all about it, Isaac. It is really good. So, is he frozen again?
I think he's frozen.
He's frozen.
I genuinely thought he was just listening intently.
I thought he was super intent listening.
I'm just so
but no.
focused.
Super intent listening. So, not so much. Yeah.
I agree. Trick taking is fantastic.
Trick taking so good. And this
amazing.
one is it's not mind blowing, but it is really, really well done. And there's some little side rules that make this game really interesting. And Slava they've decided not to go to Kickstarter, and it's actually going to go straight to retail on the 18th of February, which is exciting. So, yeah.
Good for them. And that
Yes.
ties nicely in with our conversation from the beginning of the stream about games like game designers and small publishers choosing to go direct to retail.
And I'm glad they did because, and also the way that we covered this game is going to change because we were going to originally write a preview for a game that was pretty much done. And I felt like writing a preview is not the best format for a finished game. And I'm really, really excited about writing a review for this one. So
Cool.
Since that has changed. So Chad, see you at Tantrum Con. Have a good one, Chad. Okay. I don't know if Isaac's coming back. He
says he got booted.
got booted. So, okay.
Sad.
Well, we'll close out the show. Bree, thank you so much for coming on the show. We really,
for having
really
me.
appreciate it. It was a lot
This
of
was
fun
super
hanging
fun.
out with you. Yeah,
I
thank you.
And I would, anytime. I would always be happy.
Yeah, and where can people find everything that you do on the internet?
So me personally, I'm on most social media as at Board Game Bree, and that's BREE. And then Arcane Wonders is on every social media platform, including ones that we don't actively really use, like Blue Sky, but we still have the at Arcane Wonders handle there.
Nice.
And so yeah, we're active on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram primarily.
Very cool.
And you can find all of our upcoming announcements and new releases and where we're going to be, everything on all of those channels.
And you have some great new releases this year, so we're really excited. Oh, there he is.
A lot of it.
So
we got him back.
Yep.
Oh, hey, there I am for the end of the show.
Yeah. So Bree, you guys have some great games coming out this year. Can't wait to play them. And looking forward to hanging out with you at Origins this year.
Looking forward to it.
Absolutely. Isaac, I get to hang out with you all weekend long. Can't wait.
You're so lucky.
Very
lucky
excited.
you, Ryan.
Lucky you. Lucky you. Anyway, that'll do it. Thanks for joining us tonight for the game chat. You guys have a great week.
Thank you. You
Have a
too.
good week. Take care.
Bye.